There are many cases where organizations are willing to use their own organization specific data with large language models when they want to generate content. In generative AI, we can actually use organization specific data or any of your choice of data as a grounded context data using a feature called Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Now, formally, which we call RAG or RAG, which is going to help you in this. And that's exactly what we are going to learn today. My name is Maruti and I want to welcome you in our videos on Skill Tech Club. We are going to learn something new in Azure Cloud and Azure AI related stuff every day in this channel. If you have joined this channel first time, I strongly request you to subscribe to this channel so that you should not miss our videos. Right now, let's get started with today's topic. As I said, RAG, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, is an architecture that augments the capabilities of a large language model like chatgpt by adding an information retrieval system that provides grounding data. Basically, if I simplify this thing, there are many places where we do not want to create a LLM, large language model, from scratch, and we actually do not need to. There are scenarios where organization wants that large language models are going to associate with their organization specific data, which is maybe available in some digital formats, some kind of a documents, and some more things like that. Now, when we have this kind of a organization specific data, we can use that data as a grounding content and we can provide that data into our LLM. What is the benefit of doing this? Well, the answer is because of this, you will be able to give answers to your customers based on your organization specific data. So the same LLM model which you are using, which is trained with the historical data with multiple parameters, that same model you are actually going to associate with your data. Remember, this is not fine tuning. Fine tuning is a different concept altogether, which we have covered in the different video, which you can check out here. But this is other than fine tuning, where we do not need to train the model. You do not need to train the model. You do not need to waste the time of training the model. And this is much less expensive than fine tuning. This is a topic which is going to help you to associate your own data as a grounded content for your LLMs. And then it's going to associate with that. That is basically what Retrieval Augmented Generation is doing. Now, if you ask me how exactly this is going to do that, well, the answer is you are going to use multiple services. Of course, we are going to use Azure AI Foundry portal. We will use Azure OpenAI service. And we are also going to use prompt flow. But with all this, we are going to use one service, which is Azure AI Search service. Yes, this is one of the service which is actually going to help you to take the deep insights and process that grounding data as a proper indexer so that you can search that data. Azure AI Search Service is a proven solution for information retrieval in RAG architecture. It provides indexing and query capabilities with the infrastructure and security of your Azure cloud. Now, we are going to configure Azure AI Search Service. We are going to take some kind of base data from organization specific standard. For an example, we are going to focus on some travel related domain, and we are going to take some travel agents information and documents inside this. And then we will associate those data with our LLM. Now, if you ask me what exactly we will do, the process is divided into 3 steps. The first step is you have to set up your data source with grounding data. So basically, whatever format of the data you have to put it into some kind of a data source, which can be data lake, it can be a storage account, it can be Cosmos DB, or whichever way you want. But first you need to set up this kind of a data source. The second step is you have to configure Azure AI Search Service, and you have to connect Azure AI Search Service with that data source so that it can fetch and process that grounding data, and it can create indexes based on that which are searchable. Once you have created an indexes on which you can search, the next thing is you have to associate that with your Azure OpenAI service. And that is where you're going to use your LLM model, and you'll connect that LLM model with this particular grounding data. And that's exactly what we are going to do in today's video. So stay tuned, follow the step-by-step thing. And if you have your own subscription, I strongly recommend you to go through this practically. It's really amazing. Before I proceed, let me tell you, I am going to follow one of the official lab available on Microsoft Learning GitHub repository, and the link of this lab with all the steps will be given in this particular description of this video. So let's get started. So now I am on my Azure AI Foundry portal, and as usual, initial few steps are going to be same. The first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project in my Azure AI Foundry portal. I'm giving a name of this project, Maruti RAG. I'm going to add RAG everywhere because that's the name of the today's topic. The hub name is also going to be RAG Hub. And then inside this, in the services, I'm choosing my subscription, resource group, location. I'm okay with East US 2 this time. And then it's showing me what kind of Azure AI services or OpenAI services you want to associate with this, which is here. Now remember, every time when we create a new project in other demos, in other videos, we never create Azure AI Search service with that. But this time in this one, we are going to create it. So we are going to say that, okay, we want to create a new Azure AI Search service, and I'm giving a name of this. This is Maruti underscore AI Search. Okay, I think underscore is not allowed, no problem. I'm going to put AI Search. And I'm going to put something called RAG. So RAG is what I'm adding at the end of this. This is going to be my AI search service, which will be a new service which will be created with this project. So that's what we want. Everything is created in the East US 2 region. I'm okay with that. I'm going to click on create. As we all know, this is a lengthy process. It's going to create 5-6 things in my Azure portal. So I can check all these things in the resource group of this particular subscription. But while the project creation is happening, while the resources are getting deployed, you can do one thing. You can click on the like button of this particular video, hit the bell icon, and subscribe to our channel if you have still not done that. Also, if you think that our videos are going to be helpful to your colleagues and friends, feel free to share this thing on your social media platforms. And if you think that there are certain videos which you're looking for and we can be able to record that, please put down your suggestions in the comment box of this particular video. We will surely create a separate videos based on your suggestions. Okay, all the project configurations are actually done, as you can see, and this means that my project will be loaded on Azure AI Foundry portal. Once this is done, the first thing which we are going to do is we are going to deploy some of the LLM models. And in this case, we are not going to use one, we are going to use 2 different LLM models. So yeah, my project is created successfully. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll go to model catalog. In this model catalog, the first model which I want to deploy is going to be text embedding. Now we have a text embedding models which are available here from various different companies actually. I am going to use text embedding which is having a name EDA. Now for your kind of information, this is also one of the generative models. So this is actually created with the help of OpenAI only. And these are some of those models which were created before GPT. So before GPT, actually, there were models like EDA, Babbage, Curie, Da Vinci. Now, these were the models which most of the people do not know if you have entered in the AI industry after ChatGPT. But yes, this is one of the models which is useful for text embedding. I am going to use text embedding EDA 002. So this is the first model which I want to choose as my base model deployment. I'll click on deploy. Deployment name is fine. Deployment type is also fine. I want to click on customize, and the only thing which I'm going to change is I'm going to change my token rate limit, which I'm going to set it to 5,000, and the dynamic quota I do not want, so I'm going to disable that thing. Everything else is fine. This is going to my service. I'm going to click on deploy. Yes, this model deployment is succeeded, which is great. And if that is true, we'll go back in the model catalog and I'll try to create one more. Next one I'm searching for is GPT-35 Turbo, and in that I'm going to select GPT-35 Turbo 16K, this one. As usual, I'm going to click on deploy. I'll go with the standard deployment, but I'll change the rate limit to 5,000 or 6,000 is fine, and I'll click on deploy. So step number 1 is create and deploy your LLM models. That's what we have done right now. Okay, it's giving me some warning here. It's showing me that this deployment is using legacy model version, which will be retired on this particular date. I'm okay with that. I'm using this for learning purpose, so I'm not very conscious about that, which is fine. GPT-35 Turbo 16K is also deployed successfully. So done. Now the next thing which we are going to do is we are going to add our data into our project. And in order to do this thing, we have to go into this section, which is data plus indexes. Remember, this is that section which is always going to associate with your Azure AI Search service. I have a section here which is asking me that, okay, if you want to add your data files, you can add it with the help of new data. I'll click on new data. In the data source, I do not have any particular connection right now. So in the data source, I am going to click on upload files and folders. I have those files which I want to use in my computer. And these files are also available from the official Microsoft link. So you can find that link in the step-by-step document link of the GitHub, which I've mentioned earlier. Right now, I am going to click on upload files or folder. I'll click on upload files. I have some brochure documents which is actually associated with some travel agency. So these are the brochures which are provided by the travel agency, and these brochures are in the PDF format. So all the PDF brochures, like 6 different brochures are there, I'm going to upload as a data here. So this is going to be my data. I'll just wait for some time. It's going to upload all the documents into this. Basically, this is uploading this and to that particular storage account in the blob format. Once these are uploaded, I'm clicking next. The name of this data, I'm giving brochures, and then I'm going to click on create. So this is like adding data in your project. Once my data is added into my project, this is the first version of my brochure. So this is what which is visible. You can also select a particular file, and then if the preview is visible, is possible here, it's going to show you the preview of that. Right now, these are PDFs, so it's not showing me a preview within the browser, but my data is successfully uploaded. Now, the next thing is we want to create an indexes associated with this. So again, I'm going to go back to my data and indexes. Data is created. Now let's go into the second tab, which is indexes. I do not have any index right now, so I'm going to create a new index. In the data source, I'm going to select data in Azure AI Foundry. It's showing me the brochures data which I have created is available here, and this is available with this particular date and configuration type, which is fine. I'll click on next. Then we have a settings for index, in which we have to choose our Azure AI Search service. Now we have one Azure AI Search service which is created with this. So I'm going to select Azure AI Search, which is my search service. The vector index is just a dummy name which got created with this. I do not want to change it, so that is fine. The vector index is created as a dummy name here, but I want to change it. So I'm going to change this thing, that this is going to be my brochures index. So I want to change this thing to a new name, which is brochures index. In the virtual machine is going to select auto select, which is perfectly fine. Let's click on next. In the vector settings, there is a check mark, add vector search to the search resource. I want this thing as it is, so I do not want to change it. Also, you can see that my only Azure AI service is actually coming in this drop down as a connection, so I'm happy with this. If you have multiple services, then maybe you have to select the respective service with that. Also, just focus on this message which is available here. They are saying this resource requires an embedding model. If you do not have already, text embedding ADA002 will be deployed for you. Using vector embeddings will incur usage to your account. So basically, that's the reason I have created my text embedding ADA model before this. It's already there, so it's going to connect with that. If it is not there, they're going to create it with the default token limit, which I do not want. So this is good. I'm going to click on next, and I'm going to click on create vector index. So basically, if you ask me this question that Maruti, why we have created that ADA kind of a text embedding model? Well, the answer is because this is going to be useful in the indexing process. So when this index is going to be created, it's going to use that model for that embedding process. And that's something which is the main use of text ADA embedding nowadays. Now you can see right now this indexing process is right now running. Now I can click on this refresh to check whether this is done or not, but it's going to take some time. In the status of this is showing me that right now this is just doing a step number 1, which is allocating compute resources, and that is something which is in progress. Basically, this whole process is going to be created with the help of 3 different steps. So we have to wait for these 3 steps to complete, and then once all 3 are done, your index will be ready. As of now, I'm just going to wait here, but yes, I'll fast forward this particular video and you'll see that what will happen exactly after this. Alternatively, if you want to see what is happening right now when this is doing these 3 steps, you can click on this particular link, which is job details. When you click on this link, it's actually going to take you to a separate section, which is part of your Azure Machine Learning workspace. So yes, this is actually going to be done with Azure Machine Learning Studio. Now, this is actually my studio. Inside this, I am going to click on job section, and inside the job section is going to show me that internally they have created one pipeline which is actually going to do this job. So if I go into this job section, you can see right now my brochures are actually provided here, and this is one pipeline which got created automatically with this. It's taking my LLM configuration in this, and basically this is doing 3 things inside that. It's taking care of crack, chunk, and embed data. Basically, whatever data you have provided, to create an index from that, they have to follow these 3 steps, which is crack, chunk, and embed data. That's something which is going to do that. Then they are going to update the ACS index, and then finally with that we are going to register our vector index asset. This pipeline execution will take time, and that's the reason I said that we have to wait for this. Now you wait here or you wait there in your index creation. You have to wait, there's no other way. But if you just want to observe what is happening, this is basically going to run this particular pipeline using machine learning, and in that they are going to associate your data which you have provided with that. Obviously, until unless you're adding some new data onto this, you don't need to run the pipeline again. Suppose right now I have 6 PDF documents, and later on I'm going to add few more documents into this. I have to rerun my indexer, and I have to make sure that my index is having updated data with that. Until that, only one execution of this job is perfectly fine, and then we can use it. Let me go back to this, and I'll wait, and I'll fast forward this thing for some time, and once all the steps are done, then we are going to move forward to our next step. Now, after waiting for a few minutes, as you can see, it's showing me that step number 1 is completed, which is cracking, and chunking is completed. So basically this is the first part which got completed. Now the step number 2 out of 3 is going on, which is creating Azure AI Search index, and I have to wait for some time. Then this will be also done, and it will move to the third and the final stage. Okay, now step number 2 is also done, which is creating Azure AI Search Index, and you can see step number 3, registering an index, is actually something which will be the third step, which is not started, but it will start very soon. Okay, after waiting for a few minutes, I think the third and the final step is also done. It's showing me registering index is completed, which means that now if I go to my machine learning workspace, I think all the 3 steps are actually successfully done, which also means that I can cross-check this into my Azure AI Search service. Now, it's not necessary that you have to check this thing, but I'm going into my Azure portal. I'll go into my Azure AI Search service, which got created with this project. And inside that search service, all I want to check is whether I have any indexes created inside that or not. This whole process has to create one index associated with our brochures documents which we have associated with that. So yes, we got a brochures index. This index is showing me that 6 documents they have counted as of now. And this is the index which is searchable. So basically, if I want to try to search on this particular index, I can do that thing. But remember, the goal is not to search the index directly. If I want to do that thing, I can go into my Azure AI Search service. I can click on Search Explorer and I can search this index. But the goal right now is we need to associate this with our GPT model. That's the reason. Let's go back to our Azure AI Foundry portal. All 3 steps are done, so my index is also successfully created. Now I'm going back to my assets where we have models and endpoints. I will go into my GPT-35 Turbo 16K model and I'll open that in the playground. As of now, this model is a base model, so I do not have any of my data associated with this. Now I'm going to show you that what this is going to give me if I ask some questions. For example, first, as usual, I'm going to ask what can you do? It's asking me that as an AI language model, I can perform variety of tasks, including, and then it's showing me 10 different options inside that, which is good. Now I'm going to ask a question which is related to travel. So I'm going to say, where can I stay in New York? It's giving me an option here. It's showing me New York City offers a wide range of accommodation options. And then it's a lengthy message which they are giving me, where they are showing me that I can maybe consider Manhattan or Brooklyn or Queens. Likewise, they are giving me 5 different options. Also, they are suggesting that when choosing a place to stay, consider factors such as your budget, your preferred location, your proximity to attraction, likewise. So this is a generalized answer which they have given me. Now what next I'm going to do is, there is a section here which is add your data. In this add your data section, you can see right now there is no data added into this. And what we are going to do right now is, we are going to add our own data source here. Now actually we already have data source. We are just going to connect it with this model. I'm going to click on add new data source. In my data source, I'm going to choose data in Azure AI Foundry. I am going to select my brochure index, which is created, and then I'm going to click on next. It's asking me that select your Azure AI Search service. I'm selecting my Azure AI Search service. In this, I'm going to select my Azure AI Search because I already have an existing index. I do not want to create a new one. So I'm going to choose Azure AI Search. I'll click next. My Azure AI Search service is already coming in the drop down. I'll see whether my index is also coming there. Yes, brochure index is coming. So I'm selecting brochure's index, and then I'm going to click on next. It's showing me that add a vector search to this particular search. No need to change in this particular page because this is showing me that you're going to add a search support which is hybrid, vector plus keyword search. With that, I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm going to click on next, which is going to take me to index setting. And I think all these things are fine. I'm going to click on next again and create vector index. This is going to create a vector index, and that vector index will be associated with my GPT-35 Turbo LLM. This process won't take much time. So within few seconds or a minute, it's going to be done. And yeah, it's done for me. It's showing me that my data I have associated here, which is my vector index created with the help of brochures. And this is my data source. Now let me just try whether this is useful now or not. So let's check whether it's working. I'm going to paste the same question again. I'm going to ask a question, where can I stay in New York? Once again. And we are going to see that it's a new chat session which is started right now. So the previous one is different. This is different. I'm adding this new chat session, and in the new chat session, when I'm adding where can I stay in New York, you can see that answer is totally different. This time is showing me you can choose from the following accommodation options. New York offered by Margie's Travel. Now this Margie's Travel is actually part of that particular document which I've uploaded as a brochure. The Manhattan Hotel, stay in the heart of the New York City. Then they are giving me some other options also. And after that, they're also showing me that to book your trip to New York, you can visit Margie's Travel website, which is this one. And they're also giving me one reference option below that, that New York brochure.pdf, which means this is that particular brochure which was used to give an answer of this particular question. How cool is this? Now guys, same way you can actually associate your organization specific data or any other data which you want to associate with your GPT model. Users are going to get answers based on those documents, and the cool thing is you can actually have your reference website, you can have your reference documents which are part of that thing, or you can optionally hide this also with the customizations if you want. There are plenty of things which you can try with this. I hope you understood this process of RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, basically using your own data with your existing GPT models. Well, the story is still not done. If you understood this, if you are able to understand this particular one, this is just part one of this particular video. I am going to come back with the same particular process with part 2 of this video. So somewhere we are actually going to associate our prompt flow with this particular sample. So this is just a first part of this. Stay tuned for the second part tomorrow. I'm sure you're going to love it. This is Maruti checking out. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you liked this video. I hope you understood the topic. Thank you so much.